Fox 32 has investigated Henyard's use of a police security detail, taking officers off the street and costing thousands of dollars.
You could feel the anger tonight at a Board of Trustees meeting in Thornton Township. The board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances while the township...
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready because today's video delves into the shocking scandal that is taking place in Dalton, Illinois, a small town that has been rocked by some major drama. This isn't your typical political scandal. At its core, there is corruption, intimidation, and even an alleged attempt to silence opponents. Saga is Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who many say has made the town her own playground. Hold on tight, for this is an unbelievable story.
Motion to terminate, Keith.
Let's explore the heated specifics of this dramatic feud, which is centered around a terrifying accusation. Did Mayor Tiffany Henyard actually order a hit on her most outspoken critic? The story starts off literally with a bang on July 14, 2023, when a peaceful DOL in the neighborhood was startled by gunfire. Former village trustee Valeria Stubbs, a fervent opponent of Mayor Henyard, woke up to discover her property covered in music. Shots. 2 of her tenants' cars were damaged after at least 9 rounds were fired into cars parked outside Valeria Stubbs' house, shattering glass and twisting metal. However, Stubbs is certain that this was a targeted attack that was planned by none other than Mayor Tiffany Henyard herself. Stubbs assured reporters that this was a clear notice from Henyard to back off or confront them. The results of an examination of the village's finances and bagger Mayor Tiffany's spending patterns. So who is Tiffany Henyard, and why would a little hamlet might go to such extremes? Now let's go back a little and examine the woman whom her detractors have termed America's worst mayor. When Henyard took office in 2021, she immediately grabbed headlines, but not for the reasons one might expect. From the start, her tenure has been marred by controversy and scandal accusations of misusing public monies for private pleasures, such as expensive meals, luxurious vacations, and even an odd DJ set at a town hall meeting where she played Rana's B and asterisk. Guys, you read correctly. This mayor appears to like living a lavish lifestyle, and she's doing it at the expense of taxpayers. I'd better get my money.
Anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are...
However, the story doesn't stop with extravagant spending. Henyard's has a far darker side. Henyard has been running Dalton like her personal fiefdom, according to her detractors, using her influence to intimidate and silence anyone who dared to oppose her. At the top of her hit list is former trustee and Cook County Sheriff's Deputy Valeria Stubbs, who has never shied away from calling out the mayor's dubious actions. Tension between the two grew when Stubbs led an unsuccessful recall attempt to remove Neer from office, an action that only seemed to infuriate the mayor more. Stubbs has been a constant thorn in Henyard's side, publicly criticizing her decisions, including the contentious appointment of a registered offender as a village code enforcement officer.
Is it the reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
Henyard showed up unexpectedly at Stubbs' house during a particularly harsh winter, shoveling snow and smiling for the cameras as she cleared Stubbs' driveway. She said, "This is what it looks like when you pull up on your haters." And who could forget the bizarre snow shoveling incident? It was a scene straight out of a reality TV show. Stubbs was perplexed and went outside, obviously not amused by Henyard's antics. She subsequently clarified that she had not requested the mayor's assistance and that she had only been bothering me. Stubbs claimed during a subsequent board meeting that this odd scenario just made things worse and made Henyard appear more like a reality TV diva and a capable town leader.
And sometimes we don't get questions, answers to those questions. And so it's not about clickbait, it's about just making...
As tensions escalated, the feud took a frightening twist. Stubbs recalls another unsettling incident where Henyard showed up at her property with a caravan of police officers and city workers ringing doorbells and asking her tenants for her whereabouts. It felt as though Henyard was pursuing a personal vendetta using village resources to do so. Then came the shooting. The brazen attack in July wasn't just random violence. It was the climax of months of growing hostility, a dark turning point in their very public and heated battle.
And you're the people's mayor and people's super.
Here's where
Things get much more interesting from here since new information has emerged that suggests this feud is much more sinister than a simple political disagreement. Strange individuals were spotted hanging around Stubbs' house in the days before the shooting, according to neighbors who spoke anonymously out of fear of reprisals. Even more startling doorbell camera footage shows two guys leaving the area just after the gunfire. Straight out of a crime scene, hopping into a white automobile and driving off. Now for the exciting part. Could Mayor Henyard actually be responsible for this attack? Several sources claim that she is. In the past, Henyard has used the police as her own personal enforcers. Henyard fired former Dalton Police Chief Robert Collins, who has since made scathing claims regarding her mismanagement of police resources. According to Collins, it's easy to see how such tactics could be twisted for more sinister purposes. Could Henyard have used her power over the police to plan the attack on Stubbs? Many people think it's possible that she pulled officers from street patrols on a regular basis, even during periods of critical understaffing, to serve on her personal security detail. "We needed those officers fighting crime on the streets," Collins said, but instead they were driving around protecting the mayor. Possible, particularly considering the fear she has engendered in the neighborhood. According to one resident, who described a deeply ingrained atmosphere of fear and paranoia under Henyard's leadership, residents struggle with a deep mistrust of the local authorities and live in constant anxiety, alerting one another of their whereabouts and watching over their shoulders.
Things as the supervisor, there will be no comments, there will be anything, it'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what.
But wait, there's more. If you thought Henyard's flair for the dramatic was restricted to public appearances, think again. There are rumors that she has deeper ties, possibly even to organized crime. Although this may seem like a crazy accusation, the evidence presents a troubling picture. Critics say that she controls Dalton with an iron fist, using her position to silence opposition while embracing theatrics in both politics and the streets. The strange men seen loitering outside Stubbs' home, the shooting's audacity, and the suspicious lack of a serious police investigation afterward all point to someone with power, influence, and a flagrant disregard for the law.
I believe he's cooperating.
Increased media attention is encouraging more witnesses to come forward as the scandal worsens, and there may not be much chance that Henyard will remain in power. These witnesses, who spoke on condition of anonymity, have painted a damning picture of a mayor who not only embezzles public funds, but also resorts to violence in order to maintain her hold on power. They claim that Henyard is associated with local gangs and has used these connections to eliminate political rivals, which would account for her aggressive policing tactics that are more about controlling crime than fighting it.
Las Vegas?
Next is the concerning state of Dalton's police department, which is led by Henyard. The town's finances have dropped into the red, with the extent of unreported mismanagement is so great that even police cruisers could be repossessed for failure to pay. A disturbing possibility that more and more Dalton residents are starting to think about is whether Henyard's alleged connections to criminal organizations contributed to the intentional undermining of Dalton's law enforcement by undermining the police force. This would guarantee that any criminal activity, especially those that benefit her, would go unpunished.
I don't believe that is legally correct. That's just...
The wider ramifications of this scandal will now be examined. What does a mayor reportedly using her position to harass, intimidate, and maybe kill her opponents tell about local governance? It serves as a sobering reminder of how corrupting power can be, particularly in tiny communities where supervision is weak and personal grudges can hazardously trump public duty. Henyard's at the expense of Dalton's home. The administration has been characterized by a lack of openness, abuse of authority, and an unrelenting quest for personal enrichment. Her former allies have turned against her, and Carmen Carlisle, a former member of Henyard's inner circle, has come forward as a whistleblower, accusing Henyard of unethical and predatory behavior. The situation has reached a tipping point, with calls for Henyard's resignation becoming louder. Henyard, who has long depended on a devoted following to protect her from criticism, has suffered a serious setback with Carla's decision to speak out. It appears that even her most devoted fans are turning against her as the walls close in.
We knew it was going to be a little messy, but it's just something we felt important that had to be.
In addition to local detractors, the Illinois State Controller has taken the extraordinary measure of denying Dalton funding because of the village's noncompliance with the financial report reporting law, which was a direct consequence of Henyard's poor management. Because of the Controller's activities, the criticism has only gotten stronger, indicating that even state officials are fed up with Henyard's shenanigans. Henyard's political career may be doomed because of this financial chokehold, since Dalton's already faltering economy cannot afford to lose essential state financing.
And adhere to some financial limits.
As the investigation into Henyard's actions intensifies, with federal subpoenas being issued and rumors of an FBI probe circulating, it is evident that the drama in Dalton is far from over. Residents are demanding answers, accountability, and most importantly, justice. They want to know if their mayor is, in fact, a corrupt official who will stop at nothing to silence her critics, or worse, if she is a criminal mastermind with ties to organized crime who uses her position to carry out unspeakable acts. As the saga of Tiffany Henyard develops, it leaves us wondering if Henyard is simply a corrupt politician or if something much more sinister is at work. Keep checking back, ask more questions, and remember to leave your comments below with your ideas.